After finding out that his blood swipe worked in the game, Quinn immediately opened up his system to check his stats again. Only unlike the outside world where his HP would have gone down by 1 HP, everything had still remained the same. Was it because using it didn't actually use any blood? When Quinn would use blood swipe outside, the red claw-like shape would leave his hand, and at the same time, he felt like a piece of energy inside him had left with it. The minus in his HP would indicate that it took part of his life force or his blood. But inside the game world, the attack did no such thing. It was just replicating what his mind told it to do, while scanning the body inside the capsule to see if it was possible. To test this, Quinn swiped his hands non-stop, swipe after swipe. Red lines left his fingertips in a flurry, but at the same time no HP was lost. Just in case, Quinn opened up the game system and checked, and right next to his name where there was a section to fill in your ability, there were the words written none in the box. However, another thought came to Quinn's mind. If he didn't lose any HP when using the skill, this also meant that his blood bank would have no effect in the game. When he would get attacked, it would do no physical harm to his real body on the outside. He wasn't actually losing health, so inside the game, he wouldn't be able to rely on his blood bank to save him out of tough situations. But the fact that Quinn was able to use these abilities in the game made him think, was his system really an ability? At first he assumed so. After all, he had received the power from what had looked like an ability book. Of course, he had never heard of an ability like this before, but there were many abilities in the world that originals had hidden and kept for themselves. Then he thought back to his status change. Next to race, it stated he was no longer human. Perhaps his abilities were more a side effect of changing race, rather than an ability itself. That's why the skills that he unlocked through the system didn't really follow a pattern. What the blood bank could do differed greatly from what his blood swipe did. If Quinn's theory was right, did this mean he could also learn an ability? He hadn't tried so far because he thought it simply wouldn't have worked, but now if he was to test this, he needed to think long and hard about what ability to learn. Before going into his first game, Quinn wanted to test out the hammer strike. He had been watching the video all last night and felt like he was ready. Place your foot forward like this and at the same time rotate your body. The energy should flow through your toes upwards. Then, as you pull back your hand, stomp on the ground and at the same time release the energy through your fist, Quinn mumbled as he went through the steps. At first, Quinn did all of the required steps slowly, making sure he did all of the steps perfectly, not using any of his energy or strength. He did everything step by step as the video had explained. After going through it a few times, he was ready. In one motion, he did all the steps as fast as he could, and just like the video had stated, he could feel the energy rising from the bottom of his feet into his fist. The powerful strike left his hand, and a loud bang was heard. A small shockwave in the air was created. "I did it," Quinn said. Although the shockwave was nowhere near the size of the man in the video, Quinn was still happy with the result. There was no longer any need for him to delay any more, and he went and clicked on the search function. For his first match, Quinn wanted to go against the same power level user as him, a level 1. Technically, Quinn himself knew he was beyond level 1. If he was to take a guess, he would say he was around the same power level as a 2.5, but for his first match he just wanted to make sure of a few things. The game had found him an opponent, and he was immediately teleported to an arena. When the countdown had finished, it was time for the match to start. The student in front of him had no beast weapon, so Quinn was cautious at first, and at the same time he wanted to test something out. Quinn got in close to the student and was ready for whatever was to come. That's when the student had shape-shifted his hands into a claw-like shape and scratched at Quinn's body. The attack was slow, and Quinn was able to block but chose not to, and allowed the attack to scratch against his chest. While playing the game, inside the user's view was his and his opponent's HP bar, placed in the bottom right-hand corner. When the attack went through, a small amount of HP had been taken. Quinn then quickly stepped back a few steps and proceeded to use his blood bank skill. "HP is currently full, unable to use blood bank." It was as he had suspected. Although he took damage in the game, nothing had happened to his real body outside. With his thought confirmed, Quinn was now ready to end the match. He dashed forward, and when he was close enough, he threw out a blood swipe. The student lifted his claws to block, but the second the blood swipe made impact, his claws had shattered, and followed up behind the first blood swipe was a second one. The student's HP was lowered now by around 25%. Although Quinn could have easily finished the match with a barrage of blood swipes now, he chose not to. He had wanted to originally play the game to help train his fighting skills, and in the outside world, Quinn wasn't able to use the blood swipes as he liked. Quinn got in closer to the student. By now, the student's claws had already regenerated. The student swung again, but this time, Quinn ducked underneath the attack and threw out a punch to the student's stomach, followed by another punch to the student's face, and finished him off with a cross-shaped dual blood swipe with both hands. "Winner, Blood Evolver!" Just then, though, Quinn had received another message from his own system. "Opponent has been defeated, 25 EXP has been earned, 305 of 400 XP. It was unexpected, but Quinn had received EXP for defeating an opponent in the game. Suddenly, a large grin appeared on his face. After defeating the student inside the game, Quinn received 25 EXP points compared to his regular 50. This was a large surprise to him, as Quinn didn't expect a fight in the game to contribute to points in his system, but at the same time, this was great news. Due to the heightened security around the school, it would be harder for him to find opponents and draw out their blood. That and the gauntlets he was using a dead giveaway. Although gauntlets were a rare weapon, there were millions of military personnel playing the game. Even if he was to use them, they wouldn't be able to pinpoint it to him. But now that Quinn was able to level up, it solved his current problem of getting stronger without the need of consuming blood. Although he didn't know why he had only received 25 EXP. If he had to take a guess, it could have been because he wasn't fighting these people in real life, or the fact that the opponent he went up against was too weak. Without wasting any more time, Quinn immediately went to search for another game. He set the power level to level 1, that way he would be matched up against easy opponents. An opponent was almost found instantly, and Quinn got straight to work. Rather than reserving his power like in the last game, Quinn decided this time he would just send out a barrage of blood swipes at his opponent. And his plan worked. His first opponent was dealt with so quickly that Quinn didn't even have time to find out what ability he had. 25 EXP gained, 330 of 400. Quinn's next 3 opponents were dealt with just as easy as the other 2. There was an Earth Elemental user who was too slow to cast his spells. He simply avoided the attacks, and then, when he was in range, would unleash the blood swipes. The 2 after that were just as easy as Quinn's previous fights. He would quickly dodge their attacks, and when he was close enough to them, he would spam his skill. Of course, Quinn knew he wouldn't be able to do this type of thing outside the game. After all, this skill had a major setback of reducing his health.
Subscribe to the Pocket FM Blockbuster YouTube channel and press the bell icon for instant notifications. Check out our channel for more exciting shows.